Folks, we'll start in 1 minute. We're just organizing our streaming. Sometimes we don't always stream everything. Just keep in mind, if you're a member, you don't want to go on YouTube. You want to come into the trade room because YouTube is delayed and you can't trade from YouTube. You'll lose money because the trade will be over sometimes before anything happens. And you can't trade from YouTube. Let me fix my volume because the trade will be over sometimes before. You know what I mean? The trade, if there's a really fast trade and YouTube is delayed, you're going to miss the entries. You might miss a change in setup at the last second. You never know. All right, let's enter the room. Everybody, welcome to Existing Homes 10-Minute Trades. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10-Minute Trades. Please remember that all trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. Okay, now, so we're here for existing homes. There was apparently the DMM was accidentally left out of the DMM bundle. Does everybody know what I'm talking about, or people just, some people don't, and they probably don't know what I'm talking about? But let me show you what I mean. So every now and then, a mistake can happen. It's where we're human. Just make sure that your platform is on gold, GC 821. That's what I'd look at for existing homes. It's not a money trade, okay? It's been very, very inconsistent, although I will say it's been behaving better lately than it had been previously. The last 6 months are better than it's been, but it's definitely not a family money trade. And why? So why is it not? It's not a family money trade because over the years, it's never been a big winner. It's never been consistently profitable. It's always been a coin toss, okay? It's always been a coin toss trade. And we made a big change before all of the new people came in. We said we were going to stop trading coin tosses. Now, sometimes a coin toss will become a family money trade. It could happen. You know, we're looking seriously at building permits and housing starts. Existing homes look, if it wins today, and I'm going to guess that existing homes I think it's going to win today. I'm not trading it, and I'm not even trading it in our test account, because if you look at the last 5, it's 2 out of 5, okay? It's 4 out of 6, but 2 stops in the last 5. So you just got to be careful. And I know the history of this trade. The history of this trade is inconsistent. That's what it's been. It has never been a super consistent trade. Now, did anybody look at the early morning trades? Anybody look at the early morning trades? The press conference trade, I mean, it shouldn't be traded. You're looking at a coin toss with bad, tiny victory, and I don't even think it was a victory last month. I don't remember. I have to look. The Euro main refi rate is absolutely a coin toss. Absolutely a coin toss. And that's why we didn't have rooms for those reports. We're not going to have 80 trade rooms like we used to, with trades that are going to make our account be 50-50 flat. We don't want flat accounts. We want growing accounts. Okay. Today, this week, the first two family money trades, excuse me, if I lose my voice, we're in trouble. The first two family money trades, since all the new folks, since the sale ended, both trades were really nice winners, both of them. Would you rather have two really nice winners or four trades that made your account flat? Two winners, two losers. What would you prefer? You want more trades? I can trade the coin tosses, but I think I'd rather trade them in your account. Unemployment claims has just not been consistent, David, since the first day we started trading it. That's the truth. Now, probably it was perfect today, right? You know, since we haven't today, look, it was perfect today. Perfect. It looks like it was perfect. I usually trade unemployment. It's definitely not a family money trade. It's definitely not a family money trade. It's too inconsistent. There's too many times that it will trade with other news, okay? When it trades with other news, those are the times I'm more interested in trading it. But again, some reports are looking better. They are looking better. But we didn't even have a report for it. I didn't have a room for it, and that's because of its inconsistency. It hasn't been winning every week. And I'm not saying that a family money trade has to win every month or every week. That's not the case. We all know that everything isn't going to win all the time. But we want that high level of confidence in a report. We want that high level of confidence. Let's take a look at last month's existing homes. I think, see, existing homes has been so difficult and inconsistent. I tried the trap trade on it last month. So that tells you when our regular setup isn't working. I tried a trap trade on it. And I remember now that we looked at the micro gold on the right, and it looked like it was a winning trade because micro gold was profitable. And the trap trade, let me check and see what my notes are. I think the trap worked also, but we just don't have a trustworthy trade with existing homes. Now, it may be that the breakout is starting to work again. So that's what I want to see. I want to see if the breakout is starting to work again. So I think it makes more sense to trade it today. I'm going to zoom through the trap. I just want to see what it did. So the trap worked last month, and I have my settings, and we used micro gold, and I realize I'm going fast for a second, so don't worry. I'm using micro gold on the right, and it worked and went down. You can see that it went down. Okay, so we can do something similar today. So here's what we can do. MGC is the gold micro, okay? MGC is the gold micro. It is tradable, okay? The gold micro is tradable. Now I'm going to set up the trap trade on MGC. Although it's really it's a waste of, it's really not a good use of our energy. this month. I think it makes more sense to test the breakout. So let me show you the DMM, the daily report that was missing by accident. I highly recommend every person who's a member, once your membership begins, keep a file and save all your DMMs. Download them, okay? Download all your DMMs and save them. Why? So that if a DMM is missing or an error happens, we're not perfect. Mistakes happen. There's so many reports. Sometimes a report just gets forgotten. It happens. It's very, very rare. I think in all the years I've been here, maybe it's happened 5 times. That would be a lot. And that's years. That's years. But you want to have your DMMs. You want to start saving your DMMs so you can start to reference them. So the normal setup is a bracket of 6 today. I'm going to set the normal setup on regular size gold. So click strategies, click JOBB9, version 9. And then on bracket, you put 6. The targets, see how small the targets are? That's a report that really isn't moving, right? I think, though, based on the way it's been moving lately, we can increase our targets a little bit, okay? The smallest move, not counting slippage in the bracket, was 13 ticks. So you have a bracket of 6, so that's 7 ticks, okay? I think you can at least, we can go to 4 on our first target. And I would say I'm going to do 12 on my second target. The stop is 11. Whoops. The stop loss is 11 ticks. And the entry time, 9, 59, 59. It's a 10 o'clock trade, 9, 59, 59. 1 second before the news comes out, we put our orders on the chart. That's what that means. It's a breakout trade. Remember, trade type. If you click that arrow, there's all the different setups we have. Breakout trade. I'm not trading this in live in my family money account. I think there's a chance this trade can work because the housing market has a lot of attention being placed on it by market makers, market watchers, people that care. The housing market, people are worried about inflation. Existing homes, the problem, it's going to be, I believe it'll be a negative report, which should drive gold to the upside if things were normal. Gold has a slight trend downward today. The reason I think the report, and I don't trade on what I think, I'm just saying what I think. It has nothing to do with the trade, the setup, anything. The reason I think it may be negative is because there's not a lot of inventory on existing homes. It's a problem. There's more buyers than sellers these days. Since the world crisis began, the housing market, there's been a tremendous demand for housing outside of cities, et cetera, et cetera. And it's created a housing market where offers above listing are common. Multiple offers on crappy houses are common. The housing market's on fire. So that's why I think there's a chance this report could work. I think there's attention being placed on this report. Okay? That's why I think it's possible it could work. I label my trade. And the reason I label my trade I apply it and okay it. Here's my trade up on the control panel. I label it so under strategy I could see I have existing homes, gold, GC. So I know that's my breakout trade. Now I'm going to set up a little trap trade. I'm going to use version 2 because we have something we're fixing on version 3. So don't worry about knowing how to do the trap trade today. No one was expecting this today. It's just something that I tested it once before. I'm testing it now. The current version, the version 2 of the trap trade, if you do have it and you're using it, make sure stop loss position says last fill price, not average price. It needs to say last fill price, never average. Okay? The setup that I'm using for existing homes. And the second thing before I forget, position size 2, make sure it's set to 1. Make sure that's set to 1. All the other things are default. Okay? Stop loss has to always be placed. You always have to put a stop in. Okay? You always need a stop. Stop is 17. And then the tiers, remember the tiers are your orders. And our tiers for the trap today are 10 and 16. Entry time, that's the time the news is released. Okay? That's the time the news is released. And order preparation, I hope folks start watching the videos on the website. There's videos on the website that show everybody how to use the trap trade. There's 3 of them that I put up there very recently. Okay? So you've got videos that if you have the time and you put the time in, you can learn a lot about the trap trade by watching them. Shows exactly how to trade it. Price at the time on bracket center. Position size 1. Wait for spike is default at 5. You don't change it. Position size 2. Change it from 2 to 1. Average price stays the same. Stop loss, you change it to last fill price. I'm using a stop of 17. And my tiers, tier 1 is 10. Tier 2 is 16. Entry time stays at 10 o'clock. Prep time is 15 seconds. All that means is that that's when my orders are going to show up. And you have 15 seconds to adjust your orders around support and resistance. If you don't adjust them, trust me, it's okay. In the old days, the trap trade was totally different. We didn't trade it. Then make sure you enable your trades or they won't trigger. Now this chart is a little small for a trap trade, okay? It's also micro gold, so it may not be a good test of the trap trade. The main thing I'm watching is how does existing homes do? Yeah, Cliff, don't use version 3 right now. I found a slight problem with it, and I'm talking to the programmer. You can use it in sim, Cliff. You can use it in sim. Don't use it live. Version 3 should not be used live. Okay? Until I finished with the programmer. And I'm talking to him. It should only be a couple of days. But you can use it in sim. It's still basically the same, Cliff. There's not much different. It's just you have combined buttons and there's some nice updates. Let's check our sync, our time sync. And folks, look, this is the first week. Do not panic. Do not worry. We're going to have a webinar just getting everybody up to speed. I think that that's probably a must, that we need to have a webinar just because people don't watch the videos. People don't do the things they're supposed to do. It's the nature of life. So rather than we just throw you, throw you in with the sharks, we'll have a webinar. I'm hoping, I haven't done the schedule yet for next week yet. So I usually do the schedule on Thursdays. Let's do our sync. For every trade, we always go to the website time.is, and that will put most people's computers in sync. It'll say your time is exact. Sometimes it'll say your time is off by a couple of seconds. If that's the case, you need another way of putting yourself in sync. Okay? And in the trade room folder, in the folder at the root, it's called Room Drive. In that folder, there's a program called D4. And that's a program that puts your computer in sync. It looks like this when you install it. Hold on. When you install Dimension 4, it'll look like this. And you click the Sync Now button like 5 times. Just click it like a lunatic. And watch the synchronized line for a change. If the synchronized line changes just once, that means you've been synced to the server in location, okay? And you can change the servers. There's a ton of servers. Sometimes the server goes offline, okay? You go to settings and change. I'm not going to show you that now. We're too close to the trade. But when you load Dimension 4, when you click on its icon, it brings up this screen. This is the program. You click the Sync Now button. And then after it works and you see that synchronized line change, go back to time.is and you can check your time again. 9 times out of 10, if you were out of sync before, Dimension 4 will put you in sync. 90% of the time. It's really, really reliable. Okay? It's very reliable. Now I'm going to pay attention, and we're going to stay in the room for natural gas. Okay? I'm going to pay attention to GC 821, gold, on existing homes. The trap trade is on micro gold. Okay? It's very reliable. Now I'm going to pay attention, and I may not even have time to. And we're going to stay in the room for natural gas, to be honest, because existing homes might just be a quick little pop, and it might be over real quick, or I might have to manage the trade. But I want to see what's happening with existing homes. It's appearing, it's starting to trade better. Okay, it is starting to trade better. So, the big problem with Thursday jobless claims is it now requires a whole new round of testing. It needs a whole new round of testing. Because it also appears to be trading better, but I don't think I can ever make that a family money trade. It's just been too inconsistent. What do you do? Some months it'll trade with the PPI. Some weeks it'll trade by itself. Some weeks it'll trade with retail sales. Then it's not as important. So it's one of those reports that it trades differently so often that it's hard to have a consistent test for it. If you can't have a consistent test, then a trade or an event might not ever be a family money event. You need consistency. You know, what are the things that lend itself to being a family money trade? Trading the same way over and over and over. In other words, take natural gas, for instance. Right now, it's not a family money trade, but let's say it was. Natural gas trades the same way every week, not in terms of how it reacts, but it always trades by itself. It always trades the same way. There's never extra news with it. There's never other reports. That's what I mean when I say, does it trade the same way? Okay. Now, there are some reports or events that are so strong and have so much impact that even when they trade with other events, they still take precedence. For instance, the CPI report, US CPI, is a very powerful report. If it trades with another event like business inventories or Empire State Manufacturing, those are much more minor reports. CPI will well outweigh those other reports, those other events. So you're actually trading CPI at that time, not the other events. So when an event is extremely impactful, even though sometimes it may not trade by itself, and even though sometimes it might trade somewhat differently, it can still be a family money event. And there are riskier events than others, right? Not everything has the same risk level or risk profile. Okay, let's watch and see what the market wants to do on existing homes. My prediction is there will be less than 5.9 million. But that doesn't always mean that gold is going to go up on the negative news. Gold has not been acting the way it used to, again, since the world crisis. Many things changed, and they may never come back. We don't know. We don't know if, I would say honestly, life is never going to return to exactly the same ever again. Nothing's going to be the same. And the pandemic is not over. People think just because they're not wearing their masks that it's over. Cases, unfortunately, are in a dangerous predicament right now. And I'm no scientist, so I don't know. I just know what I read. So you've got pre-trade volatility, right, with gold. That's always something that makes you a little bit nervous before a trade, right? When you get that pre-trade volatility. Whippy. So there's my trap trade. I'm going to leave it alone because it looks fine. You can see all the orders. That's all I cared about because we can watch it in the video. Here's existing homes. I said the news would be negative, but it's not terrible. It's not terribly negative. It's a 30-second cancel. 30-second cancel. I personally. So see what I mean about existing homes is it's working like a charm. Now, are you going to survive your stop with the trap trade? It went through both the tiers. Are you going to get a reversal now and an opportunity to take a profit. It should. Honestly, it should, because that was a pretty big move for existing homes, for a report that historically has not had a monstrous amount of impact. I can combine these two orders together, right? And you're getting your reversal. 20 bucks on a micro gold is pretty good. So if it gives us the opportunity and pulls back down, now maybe I waited too long because gold is pushing up. Now let's see, it still has a very slight downward trend on the day. I don't need to take a full stop no matter what, okay? So I can put my stop right above the burst candle, okay? And if you would have been quicker to take your profit in the trap trade, and it is a skill, you don't know always when to take a profit. It's not, there's no magic moment. Now, real gold, I think there's still a chance that we'll be able to get out of this with a profit. So I leave my target right about there. I can shrink my stop tiny bit. $10 profit. It's really choppy and jittery, so let's get out, okay? So you got out, you had the opportunity, it would not have been a losing trade. Trading full-size gold, you know, you're $10 a tick, not a tiny tick value, right? You're $10 a tick. So there was very nice profit on the regular existing homes. So some people trade live. Wally, you traded it live. So look, there are people that are trading more than family money trades. Okay. 10 o'clock for the NQ, Calvin, is a time that you don't want to trade the NQ on news. It always moves at 10 o'clock. It very often has nothing to do with the news. I just want to tell you that. We've done a tremendous amount of testing of the NQ at 10 o'clock on news. It's not tradable. Yes, you'll have trades that work, but you'll never have consistency. Never. Okay. Now, existing homes, yeah, I could have traded it in our test account. I could have. I'm really uncertain if it should be, I still don't think it should be a family money trade. Okay. Now, look, Wally risked 11 ticks. So he was willing to risk 11 to make 11, right? As long as you understand that you could lose more than the 11, it could hit you for 15 or 17. The stop could be slow getting out of the market if it's a very fast market against you, okay? So I'm going to make a note. Existing homes it's looking good. I mean, the report is looking pretty good. Looking good enough that I'll trade it in the test account next month. I'll definitely trade it in the test account next month. That I will do. I'm just making a note. The big mystery is what to do with Thursday jobless claims. You know, we didn't even have a room for it today. Didn't even have a room for it. All right, let me just reset. Let me reset the video real quick. We're going to put on natural gas. So hang tight, everybody. So we have an existing homes video, and we have two potential setups that are interesting, but the breakout is looking better. The breakout, when a breakout works, it's so easy to trade. So the next report is natural gas, okay? So you got to remove your orders. When you remove your orders, it'll show you your fills, okay? Now, the other thing I'm going to do is just reset my money so that I'm on zero. That's just a ninja thing. It has nothing to do with us. And let's check volume on natural gas. So if you made money if you made real money live, very nice. Is it Jucka or Jucka? Jucka or Jucka? One or two? Jucka, Jucka. Or am I wrong on both? First or second, Jucka or Jucka? Close, Jucka, Jucka, soft J. Closer to the second. So I apologize for not pronouncing your name properly. Juka, Juka. Finnish is hard to pronounce. Okay, I'll do my best. Maybe you could spell it out phonetically at some point. Spell it out phonetically. Yuka, Yuka. There we go. Yuka, Yuka. I'll never remember. Okay, Yuka. There we go. All right. Yuka's new, folks. He's from Finland. That's awesome. And he's had two winning trades since he got here. Two winning trades. And already you people are all scaring me because you're all trading non-money trades. Why are you trading non-money trades? That's what I want to know. You're trading non-money trades. Are you trading the non-money trades that I say don't look too bad? Or are you just doing whatever the heck you want to do? I mean, should I not even be here? Or what? Tell me the truth. If you're trading the extra trades live, I just want to know if you're using anything I say and why you're trading them, or what? Or if you're just going to trade them because you're just going to trade them. And that's okay too. We're going to check the volume, natural gas, go to Market Analyzer. Ah, Yuka, you traded MGC. MGC, you can trade MGC anytime, folks, that we have a gold trade. Tiny risk, like $10. But don't forget the fees, okay? The fees is where the brokers love the micros, because the fees are, it's not that the fees are so expensive, it's just that it's hard to make enough profits to overcome the fees. That's the problem. And Yuka needs to test because he's in Finland. Yuka might have to consider a VPS if his fills aren't good, right? There's things you can do when you're overseas to still trade with us and get good fills. It's called a VPS. You can rent time on a server in Chicago where the exchange is, okay? And get good fills. And you can even do that in the US if you don't get good fills. It's not free. Nothing's free, right? Nobody gives you anything for free except me, information. Well, I guess if it's a free trade room week, it's free. Otherwise, we're paying. You're paying. So it's not fair to say it's free. Natural gas is rolling over in 4 days. So the current contract is still 821. I just want to see what the volume is on 9. So I've already entered 9 into my system, NG921. This is called mixed volume, folks, okay? We call this mixed volume. True love is free. Mixed volume is a warning to really be careful if you're trading natural gas live. Let me tell you why I would not trade natural gas live today under any circumstances. It's had way too many winners in a row. The probabilities, natural gas last week was barely a target one winner, though. Remember that. It was a very difficult trade. If you were in the trade room last week, it was very hard to make money. It barely hit the first target, maybe the second target, because the second target's tiny. It's only 8 ticks. Mixed volume, as Wally says, reduces the liquidity in half on the trade. I do trade mixed volume. If natural gas had been stopped out last week or 2 weeks in a row, I would trade it today. Even with the mixed volume, I would still trade it. But with all the wins in a row, the probabilities just on that alone are lousy. Natural gas is due for a miserable trade. It really is. Now, I can say that, and it could have 10 more winners in a row. I can't guarantee that I'm right. Putting natural gas on my chart. If people will stick around after the trade, I want to go over some of the things. We'll look at existing homes. I'll answer any questions. And we could take a fast look at this morning's reports also. So natural gas is 821. Now, what's interesting is they're both tradable, right? They're both tradable, but the volume, it was a little harder on 8, wasn't it? We can check it again in 1 second. 8 has 4 days until it rolls over. But you could see, if you put on the next contract on your other chart, if you want to see it, it'll look like a normal chart. Both of them are normal charts. How do you check liquidity on an instrument? No, it probably isn't, Wally, because GC is a low liquidity instrument. But remember, Wally, that natural gas is a potential account destroyer, okay? It always has the potential, and I'm not trying to scare you because it's been trading great all year, but it has that potential to just take 30 ticks when you're expecting it to take 10. All right? So again, I'm not trying to scare you. I just think it's important that you know the truth. I think when natural gas has 5 wins in a row and mixed volume, it's a perfect week to take the week off, okay? Doesn't mean it's not going to win, but I'm not interested in trading natural gas until the next stop out. Then I'm interested, okay? The liquidity is actually, it's almost even on both. It's a little bit higher on 9. although it's, it's marginal, but you got 50 in the 50s orders, 8 and 20s. It's tough. They're both tradable liquidity. It's tradable, but it's not high. So what does it mean when liquidity isn't high? Look at bonds, just so you can see the difference between one and the other. Look at what bond liquidity looks like. Say you pull up even ZB, which is one of the lower liquidity bonds. But see what I mean by liquidity? Look how many orders there are sitting. Okay? You've got orders sitting, buys and sells. Okay? Your buys are on the left, your sells are on the right. Now, I'm not going to rant today about the Ninja Dome, all right, and how difficult it is. The Ninja Dome is an abnormal, awful dome, but it's good for checking liquidity. I would never trade off the Ninja Dome because it's not ergonomic. One day I'll do a whole rant about the Ninja Dome, and I'll explain what I mean. For me, it's not a usable dome. If you've ever traded with TradeStation or Infinity Futures, that's a dome. But you can check your orders. How's the liquidity looking? Natural gas 8. It's tolerable, but look how much smaller it is than bonds, ZB. Bonds always have a lot of liquidity. Just by definition, they're a more liquid instrument. They just are. Our natural gas setup. I want to set my video up. Hang on. We can look at last week's video also. The last time I believe that we traded mixed volume, it worked. It did not ruin the trade. It was about a year ago that mixed volume ruined a lot of trades. And we made a rule that we would not trade mixed volume for a while. And then it started making no difference. So you always have to leave yourself open. Just like existing homes, it's almost looking like a family money trade. I mean, honestly, it's trading like a champ all of a sudden. Same thing with the building permits and housing starts. We'll put them in our test account next month. If they're winners, we may try them. They're not super high risk trades. So natural gas, the setup, click on strategy, click on JOBB version 9. No, Mark, the reason I'm not having the trade room today is when I went through all my notes, Intel, it's a small mover. Sometimes it doesn't even move the market. Inconsistent. I would practice it. You could practice it. And it's very difficult to know what time the earnings are coming, which is true with with almost all the earnings reports. But some are better than others. We've had some winners on Intel, but just not consistent enough that I wanted to do it. Because you don't know what time. The problem is, when's it going to come out? Can you keep your orders safe with all those earnings reports that are coming out? Now, there is a way to get a rough idea. I'll talk about it after natural gas if you want, Mark. If you ask me after natural gas, I'll tell you some tips, some ways you can help yourself with earnings. Ultimately, down the road, we'll probably have an earnings course. We're waiting to see what the change is going to be with the market not being closed. 4:15 to 4:30. That may change earnings. Bracket of 5 on natural gas. 3 contracts. If you're going to trade natural gas and you want to have even the smallest, so here's the problem with natural gas. Look at your target size. 5, 8, and 12. That's a $250 profit. Let's assume there's no slippage and there's no positive slippage or negative slippage, that you're just using the setup to calculate profit versus risk. Okay. Entry time 10, 29, 59. And it's a breakout trade. Now look, you all have learned the reason you're here now is you're not here to trade the reports that aren't money trades, right? We're going to pass on a ton of trades, and there's going to be a lot of them that work. You have to be able to deal with that. As long as our money trades keep working and working and working, you don't care if you miss winners. But what happens is psychologically, we may one day go through a period where we'll have some losers. It's inevitable. It's got to happen. Every trade can't win. Then you start over trading because you say, oh, look at that report, it's working. Look at existing homes, it's working, but it's not a money trade. Then the month you trade it, it stops out. Then every trade you pick that month, they stop out because deep down, so many of them are really historically coin tosses. Okay. We're trying to avoid the coin tosses. That means you're going to watch some trades win. You can't go crawl up in a ball and go crying in a corner that you didn't take the trade. There's always going to be a billion trades. Always going to be new trades. Always, always, always. Okay? Always going to be new trades. Nature of the beast. There's always trades. You can't drive yourself crazy. We are trading a very specific set of reports. That's why you're here. Natural gas, bracket of five, and I was explaining why natural gas has so much trouble being a money trade. Your winning trade is 250. Your losing trade because of the stop is 450. 15, 30, 45, $450 because of a 15 tick stop. You can't make the stop smaller on natural gas because you'll have no winners. Okay? Your winners will be even less. We have tested it. Now, you might go through a period where, yeah, you might get a month or 2 months where, yes, your stop is smaller. It'll work. You might get a month or two where it's a family money trade. I'm struggling with the fact that natural gas, right now, it's profitable. If I had kept it, we started with natural gas as a family money trade, but I was only trading one contract, two at the most. I think you've got to really trade it 3 targets, or you could risk target 1 is 5 ticks, target 2 is 8 ticks. That's $130. And if you only trade 2 contracts, your potential risk is $300. No matter how you look at natural gas, because of the way it moves, sometimes it does what it did last week. And I'll show you. Sometimes it just doesn't give you, and last week was deceptive. You may not be able to tell on the video. It was only the people that traded live that were able to truly tell us how difficult natural gas really was last week. And then when you really analyze it, it didn't just move in one direction. And I goofed also to top everything else off. I had gold on. So watch the right. Natural gas is the move was on the right. We were doing some testing and I made an honest mistake and I had gold on. Natural gas is on the right here. It had what appeared to be a very good move, but people who traded it live struggled to get profits past 8 or 9 ticks. Part of the reason was, see how fast it drew? Some people got filled at the bottom of the candle and lost money because it was such a fast move and such a low liquidity instrument that what looked like might have been a perfect trade was not. Okay? And we know for a fact it was not a perfect trade. Last week, it was not a perfect trade. I'm just testing my setup once more. Bracket of 5, one target for 5 ticks, one for 8, one for 12. That's our problem. $450 risk to make 250. And natural gas can move so fast sometimes and totally screw up the account by giving you a 20 tick stop per instrument. It is the most dangerous instrument that we trade besides oil. Okay? It's more dangerous than oil, in my opinion. Okay, time dot is. See how it's 2 seconds ahead? Now, I don't have a lot of time. So I pull up dimension 4. I click on sync. I notice that the synchronized line changed. And I do my time dot is one more time quick because we're getting close to the trade. See, it put me in sync. Okay? It put me in sync. Now, next week, we'll probably have a bunch of earnings. Now, we will not have trade rooms if Facebook and Amazon and Google are trading the same day. It's impossible to trade earnings when all the big companies trade the same day. Some quarters, they give us a break and they trade alone. Other quarters, they trade together. When they trade together, it's almost impossible to make money because you can't catch the move. We've had too many stop outs over the years. We've learned the hard way. So natural gas. Okay, there's the storage. They're expecting 44 billion. They're expecting a build. Okay. If there's a bigger build, if it's like 50 billion, you'd think natural gas might shoot down. If there's less than 44, it might cause it to go up. It's a 5-tick bracket. Different contract on the right. Natural gas is just unbelievable. It can't trade badly. I mean, it's just got me flummoxed. It's got me totally flummoxed. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how well it's trading. Remember what I said, what I say. We could have 10 good trades in a row. We could have 10. I don't recall natural gas ever trading this well. But I'm not joking when I say, did anybody trade it live? Calvin, why did you lose? Tell me what happened to you. I wish you would have recorded it. I wish you would have recorded it. Calvin, where'd you get filled? Where'd you so this is what is interesting about natural gas. It looked like a perfect trade. But so Calvin, what setup did you use? What setup did you use? Because it did not look very fast. And so tell me where your short entry was. Where was your short entry? Now, without slippage, my short entry was 26 because I'm simming. There was more of a build, okay? And that pushed the price down. But Albert, don't get excited over the sim on natural gas because one of our members is saying he lost trading live using the setup. Now that surprises me. That looked like a normal, easy natural gas trade. So I'm wondering, Calvin, where you got filled and if it was that you had a very bad fill for some reason. No, AM, it's a totally different version. Has nothing to do with the software. No. AM, we're working on the trap trade. It rejected your order. It rejected your order. Calvin, how fast is your internet? I mean, I can't see that as a losing trade. I can't see it. But I believe you. In live AM, were you live? AM, were you live? How fast is your internet? And where are you trading from? Where are you trading from? Where do you live? You're in Houston. Okay, so that should be, what was your initial fill? And did you use the DMM setup? You used the DMM setup? Okay, not 100%. So I can't, I can't use your setup as as an issue as to what might have happened as a help if you changed it. And I'm not saying that's bad. You're allowed to change it. Okay, you used one target. What was your target? What was your target? 8 ticks. So here's why I'm confused. Let's look at the video real quick. So the first thing you want to look at is a range chart. So here's a range chart on natural gas, which shows every tick. NG 821, which was the contract to trade. See how the orders don't even show up anywhere near the candles? So that's worrisome. Our orders would have showed up 1029.59. Look at all the moves you can't even see with the naked eye at 1030. Price actually went up. We didn't even see that move up. We saw a straight move down. And that's what's the tricky danger of natural gas also. the way the index moves. See, our orders would have gone on the chart. Wouldn't have gotten filled till pretty far down that short move, and that was in sim. That was in sim. So I'm guessing because of the speed of the move, again, that people got filled at the bottom of the candle. And that's what's causing what looked like a perfect trade, okay? Hold on, let me look through the comments to see if any of it makes sense before I show the video. So if you traded live, just tell me what your fill was. That's the most important thing. AM, you got filled at 07, and that's the problem. Bottom, almost the bottom of the candle, well after the best part of the move was over. See in sim, how sim is so fraudulent? It says I got filled at 26. You wouldn't have got filled at 26. Real life, AM got filled at 07. You see what I mean when I say when a market is so fast, there is extra danger? And natural gas is an extra danger market. Okay? There's definite high risk in trading natural gas. It looks often like it's perfect. That looked perfect to me. And now talking to people, you got to get a grip on yourself after you see what looks like a perfect trade, and you got to try to analyze what happened. Calvin got filled at 894, folks. That's way after, that's the bottom of the candle. It's almost the very bottom of the candle. You can't win if you're filled at the bottom of the candle. That's because it was a fast move. Okay? He got filled short all the way down here, right there. The move was over. And then he got stopped when it pulled up. That's low liquidity. And that's a combine account. So, Calvin, that doesn't count either, unfortunately. Okay. Unfortunately, we don't go by those combine. We can't. They're just not the same. But AM traded live. AM traded live. But I don't know, Calvin, why you got such a bad fill. That's particularly bad. Particularly bad. I did not think it was so fast of a trade that it would have been a loser. It did not, just going by experience of the speed of the trade, it did not look that fast to me. Let's take a look at that video for a second. AM, that's what's crazy. That tells you it was super fast, way faster than I would have thought. I mean, I agree with you, AM. The proof is in what happened. It triggered an extra trade because it couldn't find the stop. That's why that happens. It thought it was closing the trade, but the trade was already closed. That's why that happens. It was closing the trade, but the trade was always closed. The trade was already closed. So when it placed the stop, it placed an order to buy. And that's why I was saying natural gas, mixed volume today. can be an account killer. So I don't think we can make it a family money trade because the risk level is just too high. Yes, it looks like it's trading well. It's not like existing homes. That trade was safe. There's not even an issue. I'll tell you, that didn't look so fast to me today. I think I would have had a winning trade with that trade. I really do. I believe I would have had a winner today. I'm very surprised that people had trouble with that, with the speed of that move today. I am surprised. When I look at the speed of that trade in real time, it's not that fast. Now, but it was very low volume. It was half the volume, lower liquidity today. Okay. So that's what happens. That's what could happen in natural gas. And that's why, you know, I know it looks like it should be a family money trade, and it might even show up on the DMM in analysis that it looked like a winner. But I think the truth is that was no winner for almost everyone that traded it live. No one made money except Sim. Okay. No slippage in Sim. Don't forget that. Sim is a great thing to practice on breakouts, but it does not always show you the true result, because sometimes the market's just too fast or the liquidity's too low. Okay. And I agree with Mark also. Everybody's trading on the same computer they go to the internet with and they do all their downloading on, and events are fast. You want to try and trade on the cleanest computer you can. It's safer. It's definitely safer. I wanted to look at one thing. So that we looked at 8:30, and it looked like a lot of the new people don't even know what we're talking about. At 8:30, there's a report. It's called unemployment claims. It comes out every Thursday. Jobless claims, continuing jobless claims is the official name of the report. And here's the report, okay? It was negative news, very negative. There were 419,000 claims. They were only expecting 350. The economy might be slowing, right? Or people are worried about the virus. That's what, the news is saying. That caused gold to have an 8:30 move up. No, Calvin. So that 8:30 trade looked like a very nice winner on gold today. All right. But again, it has been inconsistent. We're not here to trade sometime winners. We want often winners. That's our goal. 745 was the ECB. That looks like a potentially difficult trade. So you had what looked like a whippy candle, a total change in direction. Okay. My guess is, did anybody trade the 745 trade? Anybody look at the 745 trade? I did not check it today. So it needs to be tested. You have to actually do a replay on it to see what it looked like. That's the best thing to do. But just looking at the candle, looks like a low volume burst, and then a complete change in direction, and then another change in direction. So it may have been a difficult trade. That's a trade that needs to be replayed to see what the market actually did. Brian, but look at the chart. It looks like it did come out. It absolutely looks like it came out. So what happened? What happened? The news didn't come out on time? Let me look at Forex Factory to see if they said anything. When a report doesn't come out on time, Forex Factory often says something, and I don't see anything, Brian. I don't see anything being said. It didn't come out at all, but look at the chart. You can see that the news came out. So something doesn't jive, right? Don't you agree? Because when I look at Forex Factory, the news came out. It was zero. They didn't do anything. And when you click the folder, when you look, there's no, see, consumer confidence was early today. That's what that star means. And they didn't change the interest rate. So I'm not sure, maybe it was late. Are you saying it was late? Because when you look at, if it was late, it certainly looks like there was a news move. It looks like there was a news move. I'll do a replay just for fun to see what happens, but unfortunately, you can't replay whether the news actually came out, okay? You can't replay whether the news actually came out. All right, folks, so it's my job to try and keep everybody as safe as possible, so I'm going to keep natural gas on the back burner because I think the risks are just too high. I think the risks are too high. I got to keep it on the back burner. All right? Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Tomorrow we've got one event. I believe we're 9:15 in the morning tomorrow. One event tomorrow. Okay, folks? Everybody listening? Everybody hear me? Tomorrow we'll be here at 9:15. These overnight trades have been trading pretty well, especially French and German. Now they're 3:15 in the morning my time. It's not happening. Okay? Unfortunately. I would consider probably test account on the French and the German trade. But I didn't even look at the schedule yet. Tomorrow I should be able to tell everybody what's going on next week. Okay? Tomorrow morning we should be able to go over what's going on next week. So I'll see everybody at 9:15. And just keep learning slowly and steadily. It's going to take time. Don't panic. I'll get a webinar scheduled so we can go over things. And I'll see everybody later. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Okay? Now, I don't have a problem with people that traded existing homes, but I do think you should really be careful, like I said, with natural gas and Wednesday oil. They are account killers. They can be. They could look like great trades like we see, and you could struggle to make a profit. So the Wednesday oil trade is not trading well. It's not been trading well. Now, I'm not saying it's not trading as a discretionary trade. We don't trade it that way. But as a breakout, it's not trading well at 10:30. The 10:30 report is what I'm talking about when I say Wednesday. That report has not been trading well. Not if you want to make money. All right? Correct. Jeff, correct. Jeff and Tony, correct. If it's a family money trade, it's a family money trade. Thanks on YouTube for watching, folks. Give us a like if you would. Before you go, we're going to shut down. The family money trades are what we're trading. We're virtually not trading anything else except in our test account. That's it. That's how we're trading. And because of that, our account's up over 50% since we started. That's how we're going to do it. Yeah, no, look, if you want to trade non-family money trades, that's all good and great. But keep in mind that a lot of them, some of them will become family money trades. And maybe you'll start trading them a little soon and you'll make money. That could happen. But you might get hurt too when they don't become a money trade. That's the problem. And it's hard. It is not easy to figure out when they've reached that point where you can trust them. Sometimes you have to also look at their long-term history. And maybe it should never be a family money trade because it never, ever had a history of being reliable. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things you need to consider. Okay? All right, folks. I'll see everybody at 9:15. I agree with Mark. It's also summer. Summer trading is a little bit weirder, but it's been good. I will say that. Summer trading has been good. But trading in sim is the best way to practice. Best way to practice. Just to get it so that you're comfortable with the software and the platform. Okay, folks, 9:15 tomorrow morning. I'll see everybody at 9:15. See you all later.